Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Masters of the Universe, the board game, Clash for Eternia, Box of Power unboxing. This is, of course, the stretch goals. This would be video part 3. Part 1, we went over the components, and some of the NPCs and extra cards and stuff that are from the Kickstarter stretch goals. The first part of the second part, we went through the first half of the heroes, and the second half, or part 3 now, we're going to go through the second half of the heroes. So let's just jump right in. So these are all kind of like the allies. So the last video we went through all of the more common masters that people would have known. These are going to kind of be like side or alternate characters. So we're going to start with actually a team of characters. We have Stondar, and then we have Rockon right after him. So these were some allies that came in and helped out He-Man and stuff. They can turn into rocks. I'm thinking if the toys I'm thinking of that could turn into like little square rocks, you could fold them up, but that could have very well have been a very different set of toys. Yeah, so this guy, if you flip him around, here with that thing, it's like a giant meteor. He has all this rock covering on his back. You can kind of fold in. It's a very interesting design. Alright, so what does Stondar do for us? He has a, focus that back up, radar gun. Has 3 range, ignores defense and line of sight. Oh, that's actually pretty cool for a basic attack. And then Rock Mastery. Gain +1 defense while on rock terrain. Bonus action, place 4 rock terrains within 1 space. Remove at the end of the round. Cool, so this guy can gain, he already has an extra defense point. He can gain more defense, and he can place rock terrain around. They're temporary, but still, be able to gain them and gain some extra defense for the entire round is definitely helpful. His controller side, see a little bit better picture of him there. He keeps Radar Gun and Rock Mastery, but Rock Mastery also gains Spawn 1 Boulder on an empty adjacent space. And then Power. When attacking with a Boulder, Stondar rolls 5 dice instead of 3 and may move adjacent to the target. Oh, it's kind of funny. So basically he can place a Boulder, which is himself, and he can like throw himself. Is the idea there. That's actually kind of clever. And then we have his AI version, which has Radar Gun and Rock Mastery, which is now spawn up to 2 boulders adjacent to Stondar. If there's an enemy within 4 spaces, he performs 1 boulder attack using the terrain against the enemy in range with the lowest HP. Surge, Stondar performs 1 additional boulder attack after completing the first. So he has to throw the 2 different boulders. That's pretty cool. So I like this character so far, just because, like with some of the other expansion stuff, I like characters. I don't want every character to be able to do it, but like there are some characters that can manipulate or utilize the terrain, because that's the whole point of having different terrain and different types out. Is you may as well have someone that can utilize them. Because if you're not gonna have guys, if the terrain is there just to get in your way or walk around, then just build walls. You know, why have a forest? Why have boulders? Why have, or this set, like you have all these different other tokens. Have characters that can manipulate them. We have Create Boulder. Bonus action, spawn 1 boulder on an empty space. Boulders do block line of sight, so and he doesn't have to worry about that, so he can use that as a great defense. And then the Path of Non-Violence. When an enemy within 4 spaces activates an attack, they become dazed. Then Stondar may move and perform 1 move action after their attack. Okay, cool. So if they activate and attack you, they become dazed. You can get away. Oh, sorry. Oh, I had a yawn in there. We have Flying Rocks. Stondar may remove 1 boulder within 4 spaces instead of paying for its cost. Move boost, move 2 spaces, ignore escape damage. Or Surge, place one boulder in an adjacent space after completing this move. Cool. So yeah, you can surge it, and then that's kind of neat. It's basically him turning into a rock and flying around. It's an interesting aesthetic. Rock Smash. May target enemies up to 2 spaces away. Hits all enemies within 2 spaces of Stonedar. Surge. Instead, this attack becomes ranged. Also hits all enemies within 2 spaces of a target enemy. Oh, that's cool. So you can either go a 4 dice melee attack for up to 2 spaces where it hits everything, or you can switch it to range, which now hits 4 spaces, targets up to 4 spaces away, then also hits an additional 2 spaces of the enemy target. That covers quite a bit of ground. And for his red, we have Armor Strike 5 melee. All enemies in 4 spaces of Stonedar become dazed, and defense boost. Attacker becomes dazed. She's all about, got some good defense. And we have Rock People. Place Stonedar any rock terrain on the battlefield. Reaction: when an enemy ends on or adjacent to rock terrain, perform a 3 attack targeting them. So I'm assuming that even though it says rock, the bottom one of the reaction says rock terrain, I wonder if it has to be, if it's supposed to be the rock terrain he's on, or if it's any rock terrain. I think it's supposed to be like, they're out, like he melds into the rocks. I think the idea, it has to be that rock terrain. But yeah, even still, that's pretty fun. Like, you can move them anywhere. Basically, it's like an instant teleport to any rocks. That's actually pretty crazy. Alright, then let's look at the other stone guy we have. We have Rock-On. So we drop this down, put his up there. So I'm just going to put his miniature up next to it so you can see the difference between the two of them. So they have these radar guns. He has his attaches into his chest. But he's still got that, look at that, it's kind of ridiculous. He has a rocky exterior. I like how they're different. Whoops. How they are different, like, types of rocks as well. Like, his is more like flatter, I guess, because it's the little divots, the little craters in there, and the other guy's is more crusty. And you can even see that in their artwork as well. They have a little bit. Yes, it helps if I zoom back out so you can actually see what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, if you look at their two different artworks, you can even see like their rocks are a little bit different. Which makes them kind of neat. Alright, so let's drop him back down. We'll flip this guy back around. Let's look at what Rock-On does. So he has 7 with 1 defense, which is the same as Stonedar. Radar gun as well, ignoring line of sight and gaining defense. Is hard-headed. Defense boosting 1 defense for every 2 wounds Rock-On has suffered. Okay, so this guy's maybe a little bit more proactive, it looks like. He has Reckless Assault. Roll 2 dice. Rock-On suffers 1 wound for each miss. On each Castle Grayskull, gain 1 success. And then Challenge. Push 1 enemy within 4 spaces of Rock-On, 3 spaces toward him. Surge just becomes a bonus action, so you can bring guys to you. And then Empowered. Rock-On gains 2 extra HP, which will definitely help from taking damage. And then we have the AI version. Reckless Assault. Attack boost. Roll 2+ dice. Rock-On suffers 1 wound for each miss. And then Challenge. So the same as the other one. Alright, let's look at his special abilities. So again, I think this guy's going to become a lot more aggressive than Stonedar. So you're going to start with Challenge. Action. Push 1 enemy within 4 spaces of Rock-On, 3 spaces towards him. And then this becomes a bonus action. And we have Path of Nonviolence. When enemy within 4 spaces activates an attack, they become dazed, then Roxanne may perform one move after their attack. Doesn't seem like he's non-violent, but counter blow. After this attack, Roxanne performs one attack against the attacker, paying all the costs. So, but so far he only has one attack. He just has his his radar gun. Reckless assault, but he has reckless assault, but he's on the other side. Rock gun suffers 1 wound for each miss. For each task of great skill, gains 1 success. And then he has living meteor. Before attacking, push rock gun up to 4 spaces. He may move through and end on enemies during this push. Push any enemy stands on 1 space. This attacker hits all enemies Roxanne was pushed through or ended on. Cool, so he basically just essentially charges through everybody. And hits everyone, does a bunch of damage on everybody. And then its other side is rock people. Place rock on any rock terrain in the battlefield. When he ends on or adjacent to the rock terrain, perform a 3 attack against targeted enemy. Yeah, so cool. I like Stone Dart a little bit better. Like the ability to manipulate and place rocks. I get where Roxanne was supposed to be a little bit... Yeah, he's supposed to be a little bit more aggressive. Like, he has challenge, he can bring guys towards him. And pathing on violence that the other guy has. Though it just doesn't make sense because he has counter blow here. Which says, after this attack, perform 1 attack against all attackers. He only has 1 attack. He has radar gun. Up until he gets his last one, then he has the 5 one. Now, counter blow using that meteor one could actually be very powerful. So if you counter blow and then you play living meteor, you can afford the 2 on that one. You could definitely then, if someone hits him, then you could use it as a way to get away and do a bunch of damage to guys between them. But yeah, it's a weird little disconnect. Like, it seemed like if one guy's gonna play with boulders, why didn't the other guy play with a bunch of boulders too? In some sort of fashion. And then the fact is that 2 abilities are the same, like non-violence and rock people. That's alright. It's interesting. But fun. I wish there was more synergy between the 2 of them, was I guess what I was hoping for. Like, if one could place boulders and then the other one could do stuff that utilize the boulders, that would have made more sense. Like, hey, I can place boulders, but I don't attack with them. And then the other guy would have been, I'm going to attack with boulders, Like, that would have made more sense. Or he had something more to do with his radar gun, something like that. Alright, up next, we're going to get into some very interesting characters here. So we have Hero. So this is like the original He-Man, way back in the day. So he also has the Sword of Power, much like regular He-Man there. And then he has his attack boost, roll 3+ dice, and then Magic Scepter. Defense boost. After the attack, push the attacker up to 2 spaces. They become dazed. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So you get the option on what you need to be doing. And you can push guys away for extra defense if you need to. His controller side, Sword of Power, Magic Scepter, which has 1 less dice for the range. And then Sword and Magic Mastery. Attack boost. After resolving the Sword of Power or Magic Scepter attack, perform 1 attack with the other. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, either you can do a 3 melee or a 3 ranged. Or you could do one of them, pay the extra 2 to do the other one right away. So depending on where you're standing, that could be really powerful. And then Powered. Magic Scepter's defense boost may be used as an attack boost, pushing the defender. Ooh, that's kind of neat too. You can change that to an attack boost. Cool. Then let's look at his AI, he has Sword of Power with 3 extra dice, and Mighty Leap. Push hero up to 2 spaces towards the closest enemy, ignoring terrain penalties or other models. Surge, if he ends adjacent to an enemy, perform 1 Sword of Power attack on them, gaining its attack boost. Oh, neat. So you can hop 2 spaces towards someone and then hit him with 6 dice. As long as you can spend that surge. That's actually pretty nice. Gets him right in there. Alright, let's look at his player skills. He should be pretty interesting. Let's look at his miniature real quick. Yeah, so here we got Sword of Power up here. He's got a staff, like he's standing on the rocks. It's a really neat post. Plus he has like the cape and stuff. He feels more superhero-ish than like the barbarian that like He-Man is. Like He-Man, the Master sort of like says like barbarians, might and magic, and this guy's dressed almost like a superhero. We have Magical Forces of Eternia. All allies within 4 spaces gain 1 power. Surge, those allies gain +1 power. Oh, that's a cool, fun boost. Being this guy didn't seem like just by his base thing, he doesn't seem like a leader. That's definitely a leader still, which, again, in contrast to He-Man, He-Man's all about doing stuff himself. He doesn't have any really like helpful skills for other people. Sword and Magic Mastery. Attack boost, Sword of Power only. After resolving the attack, perform 1 Magic Scepter, or Magic Scepter perform Sword of Power. Surge, this attack gains 1 die. So he gains that ability on his player version. It just costs him a decent amount. He also gets his Mighty Leap. Bonus action, push her up to 2 spaces, and Surge. Perform 1 attack after this push, paying all costs. I do like the fact that something like that where you can do it whatever attack you want. So you can land and do a sword attack, or you can land and do a scepter attack. He has Dazzle. Target 1 space within 4 spaces. All enemies within 2 spaces of that target become dazed. And Surge, this becomes a bonus action. I think the last time we saw this was Orko, which I find very hilarious that Orko has the same ability as him. Then we have Great Sorcerer. 5 with range. Choose 2, gain 1 power. Place hero adjacent to the target. Or controller does not gain power from this attack, or target loses 2 power. You get 2 of them. That's crazy. So yeah, you could drop Great Sorcerer, hit from a distance. You can roll 5 dice. You could place them next to them, keep them from gaining that 3 power. Place them next to them to be able to do some damage, or you could make them lose, or you could gain some to do it again. That's really cool. Lots of different options. I don't even think we've seen anything like that, like through all these characters. I think there's like 1 or 2 other characters had a choose option, but not 4 different options. I have the power. The first time hero activates each round, this still gains 2 power. Action: all enemies in 2 spaces suffer 2 wounds and become dazed. And Surge, this becomes a bonus action. So he gains it beginning of the turn, so he can use this every turn, essentially, if he wants to spend his action. But he can always spend 1 extra and make it a bonus action, so he doesn't have to waste one of his regular. But yeah, anyone with like 2 spaces gains 2 wounds. You just hit everybody. That's actually pretty sweet. Cool, so that's a hero. Alright, so as, I guess, I don't know, a counterpart, or, different version? I'm not sure what he really is. Well, we have our next guy. It looks like another He-Man, but it's not. Kind of. It is King Grayskull. So this is interesting, because I don't know the lore behind these characters that well. Either they're really late in the cartoon, or I don't remember them. But it seems like you have Grayskull, who has the very He-Man aesthetic, blonde hair, the battle harness, costume, and all that. And then you have Hero, who has the power sword. And if you kind of combine them like that, uh, the H symbol for hero, and then like this crest there on the front, that makes up He-Man's kind of sort of makes up He-Man's symbol. It's kind of like a mixture between some of those. Sometimes he has the H on his chest, sometimes he has like a star design. So it's kind of like a mixture between the two, which is very interesting. Story. I'd like to know more about that. But we have Power Axe. 3 melee attack boost. Enemy cannot use defense boost, and you can ignore the defense. And then Charge. King Grayskull performs 1 move action, then may perform 1 attack action. Surge. This attack may reroll dice. So just, yeah, it makes sense. This guy looks like a straight up barbarian. He's gonna have just running attack abilities. Power Axe and Power Mastery. 2 melee or 2 range. This attack gains 1 die for each power the target has. This can exceed the limit of 6 dice. Wow, that could be pretty bad. Empowered. Each time King Grayskull activates Heal 1. Even worse. And then we have the AI. We have Power Axe and Power Mastery. Power Mastery changes a little. Target closest enemy rolls 2 dice at +1 additional dice for each power on them. Gain 1 for each Castle Grayskull they suffer. So now I am wondering what it says for each one on them. I'm assuming that means because you're attacking a player character, that is one of the 5 slots below the character card, not including the ones that can be by the skills. Because if it can be by the skills, that could be very ridiculous, because you could end up with like 20 dice, which is basically just instant death for anyone. Alright. Let's look at his miniature and his skills. So yeah, here's our barbarian. He's got that cape, he's got like a fur backer on there. Plus he has the big giant battle axe. And the battle harness. Alright, and his abilities are Channel Power Action. Just gain 2 power. Again, I don't think anyone's had that skill. Just to be straight up, hey, I need power. Let me just pause for a turn. We have Cleave. Attack boost, melee only. If this attack KOs an enemy before 1 Power Axe attack, this repeats if another enemy is KO'd. Surge. After completing this attack, push King Grayskull up to 1 space before performing his next attack. Cool. So basically, he can swing through if he takes someone out with his Power Axe, or whatever action. You have to be Power Axe attack. He takes it out with whatever attack he uses. Then you get to perform another Power Axe, and you can keep doing this as long as you KO it. And then you can surge it each time to keep moving forward, so you can keep running through a bunch of guys. Alright, then he also gets Earth Shatter, which I think regular He-Man had. 4 melee, target 1 space within 2 spaces of King Grayskull. This attack hits all enemies in the line between King Grayskull and targeted space. Attack boost. Targeted space within 4 spaces of King Grayskull instead. Attack boost, enemies in those spaces become dazed. Alright, and then Power Overflow. Attack boost. Attack rolls gain +3 attack dice. Cool, you can boost up any attack. For each Castle Grayskull success, +1 success. After this attack, discard all power on King Grayskull. Do not give it to the controller. For each power discard, deal 1 wound to King Grayskull. Interesting. So yeah, you basically want to use this as soon as you can so that you're not gaining too many extra power. Otherwise, you're going to take 1 wound. But yeah, the fact you can boost up any attack is pretty powerful. You can boost up your, some of your other attacks. It's actually pretty cool. Alright, then we have Power Mastery, 4 melee or 4 range. For each power the target has, this attack gains +1 success. Yeah, that's, again, yeah, you can just get a lot bigger. And then we finally have, I have the power, no, it's ancient power. Bonus action. All adjacent enemies suffer 1 wound and become dazed. Surge deal +1 wound, and Surge hit all enemies in 2 spaces of King Grayskull. Cool. So you can get up and just do some damage. Plus with his other abilities like charge and move forward, he can get in really close to some of these attacks. So this guy's just a beast all around. And he's going to need to be spending his power as quickly as possible. And that might be why he has that one ability that damages him if he has too much power. Just because you have the other ability that keeps letting him gain power, so they might have wanted to have a way to offset that. So like, hey, if you're going to use this ability, you're going to either have to spend your other power or you're going to start taking damage. That'd be my guess. Alright, let's jump to our next hero. Our next hero that is not hero. Alright, so our next 3 characters are all alternate versions. So, presumably, because you have 2 minis, you could now do a He-Man versus a He-Man battle, or have 2 He-Man fighting on the same side. Although I don't think that's the intended purpose. But this is Battle Axe He-Man. So what's really neat there is because 1, he has his little tiny shield. He gains some defense, and then 2 is he kind of matches, the King Grayskull. Which is sort of what guys that he's sick the armor and that, but this is where he gets his axe from. Which is a lot smaller axe. Versus the other one. Alright, so Battle Axe He-Man gains Battle Axe 3 damage, attack boost, do not use defense boosts, ignore defense. And then Charge. Battle Axe He-Man performs 1 move action, then may perform 1 action, then this attack may reroll any dice. Oops. So I just wanted to grab the original He-Man card here really quick. So it just adds a comparison there. So the original He-Man has 10 health and no defense. And has attack power boost and he can heal. So that's one of the big differences right there. Just on their basis. So I'm not going to compare all their skill cards, but that's the difference. The other He-Man just has like attack boost. This one can ignore defense. So a little bit more precise attacks. Controller side. He has Battle Axe again and Mighty Leap. Is that the exact same as King Grayskull? Because that'd be very hilarious. So he has Mighty Leap Push. Battle Axe him up to 2 spaces, ignoring terrain penalties. Surge. Enemies become dazed. And then Empowered. Each time Battle Axe He-Man activates, every character adjacent suffers 1 wound. Nice, so you can just hurt guys right around like a free swing. There's lots of these attacks that the original one might have had, they just may be in different orders. AI has Battle Axe as well, and they have Charging Cleave. There's an enemy within 4 spaces. Battle Axe He-Man moves adjacent to the enemy at the lowest remaining HP, performs 1 Battle Axe, plus 3 dice, and rerolls any misses. Nice, that's pretty powerful. Alright, now let's look at his skills. Ooh, I have Lash Out. There's our miniature for him. Trying to see if I can darken that up a little bit. It's a good contrast though. If you like toys and stuff, there's always like anytime you have a main character, there's like 40 different He-Men. So I'm actually happy though that they only put one duplicate of some of these characters in here. I mean, you could probably call King Grayskull or even Hero a second or third duplicate if you wanted to. But I mean, they could have done a set where they're like, oh, here's 5 different He-Men, because there's battle damage He-Man, or, this He-Man or that themed He-Man. So I'm glad they didn't like go crazy. I'd rather have more different characters than 10 different He-Men, because especially if you're only gonna play like one at a time, having multiple of the same characters in these types of games is never that fun. Lash out reaction. After Battle Axe He-Man is attacked, while there's an enemy adjacent to him, roll one die for each wound he suffered from that attack. For each cast of Grayskull melee, deal one adjacent enemy one wound. Nice. So if he's attacked, he gets to do a free extra attack on them. That's kind of cool. Gets hit, he gets to turn around and potentially hit back. Then he has Cleave. This attack KOs an enemy, perform one battle axe attack. This repeats when another enemy is KO'd. Surge, after completing his attack, push battle axe He-Man up to one space. You can definitely see he has a lot of the same thing as King Grayskull. Overpowered. Battle axe He-Man may suffer 2 wounds instead of paying for the skill attack boost. Roll 2 dice and enemies wounded by this attack become dazed. Whoops. Mighty Leap. Bonus action. Push He-Man up to 2 spaces and perform 1 attack after this push, paying all costs. Then his final abilities are Berserker Rage. Anytime Battle Axe He-Man would pay power, he may instead suffer that many wounds. Attack boost. Any attack. Roll +1 die for every 2 wounds Battle Axe He-Man has suffered. This can exceed the limit of 6 dice. And then he has I Have the Power. The first time He-Man activates each round, gaining 2 energy. Action. All enemies in 2 spaces suffer 2 wounds to become dazed, or it becomes a bonus action. So very much like the other one. Yeah, so some of these characters are kind of interesting. So like when he has like Berserker Rage, he only has 1 attack. He only has Battle Axe. Everything else, he has stuff that'll do extra damage or work like attacks, kind of like Charge or Mighty Leap. But in the end, he still only has Battle Axe. So seeing a couple of characters like this now that have only 1 type of attack instead of multiple different options, makes me wish that they added, or maybe if they ever add an expansion for this game, which I doubt they will. Usually IPs like this don't usually do a lot of expansions. But if they did, I would love to see, like power card, like skill cards. Like, hey, I can give this character a extra skill, like oh, maybe give He-Man like a crossbow or a spear or something that gives them an additional type of attack. It'd be interesting to see how something like that would work, with different characters, and their skills and stuff. All right, so our next alt character is Man-at-Arms. So here we have Commander Man-at-Arms. So he has a Power Mace for 3. So attack boost. Enemies wounded by this attack become dazed. If the enemy is already dazed, may reroll the attack dice. And then mark target. Target 1 enemy within 4 spaces until the end of the round. All allies gain 1 die against them. That's pretty fun. Alright, so then as a comparison to the original, 1 less health, but he keeps that defense, but he had ranged attacks. So he goes from ranged attacks to melee attacks, which is, that's a Man-at-Arms thing. He does everything, right? That's why he's the Man-at-Arms. I never even noticed this. He has armor only on 1 side. Kind of interesting. Power Mace and Mark Target. Says the same idea as the other 2. Enemies wounded by this become dazed. If they're dazed, you can reroll attack dice. And Mark Target. Target 1 enemy within 4 spaces. All allies gain 1 die. And Surge. Move Commander Man-at-Arms up to 2 spaces towards the enemy. Empowered. Power Mace rolls +1 die. Mark Target causes allies to gain 2 dice instead. Nice. So you can do 4 guys can do extra damage. I like that mark target's an interesting idea. Single out someone. We have AI, we have Power Mace, and Mark Target as well. Power Mace stays the same, Mark Target. Enemy thing 4 spaces. Target the enemy at the lowest remaining HP until the end of the round. All allies gain +1 attack dice against them. Commander Man-at-Arms moves 4 spaces towards that enemy. Nice. Alright, let's look at his skills and his miniature. So it makes sense for these two to definitely have them, because they're 2 of the main characters of the game, or of the TV show, the series. To gain extra alts. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted, other than Fisto, I guess technically he has an alt as well. But like, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted an alt for every single character. An alt Orko, you know, I'm not saying you couldn't do it, because there's versions of Orko, but yeah, less is more for this. Alright, so it's tactical reposition. Push Commander Man-at-Arms, or 1 ally within 4 spaces of him up to 3 spaces. Surge may ignore terrain penalties and may move through enemies during this push. So I think some of these are going to mirror his other ones. Counter Blow. Reaction. After being attacked from an adjacent space, roll 1 die for each wound Commander Man-at-Arms suffered for that attack. For each melee or cast of Greyskull, the attacker suffers 1 wound. He does get his stun beam, so he can pull out his gun if he needs to. For each success, the enemy also loses 1 energy for each, or power. For each power they can't lose, they suffer 1 wound. Attack boost. Wounded enemy becomes dazed, which works well with his Power Mace. Dazed with your stun beam, and then you can hopefully come up and smack him later. And then he has Mace Slam instead. Hits all other enemies adjacent to the target. Attack boost hits all enemies within 2 spaces. So if you want to have him strict melee. And then he has Enhanced Gear. Again, Commander Man-at-Arms may perform these boosts on himself or any ally within 4 spaces. Gain 1, 2, or 3 defense. And his final skill is Issue Orders. Push Commander Man-at-Arms up to 1 space. 1 ally within 4 spaces performs 1 attack action. They roll 1 die and they reroll any attack dice. So, having him be a commander, I like the fact he has melee, gets him right in there. Plus, has some stuff that works with allies. Like this lets ally perform an extra action. And he can move around as well. I'm surprised he didn't have at least one thing that let him summon minions. Because that would have made kind of sense as well. He could have summoned some troops to come help him. Even if he just summoned them, then he didn't have anything else to do with them, that would have been kind of neat. Alright, let's go into our third alternate character. We have Tila. But not just any Tila. This is Goddess Tila. She's got the snake armor. Which is definitely neat. So yeah, she's gonna work a little bit different than her other version. She has Serpent Staff, 3 attack, melee or 3 range, attack boost, hits all adjacent enemies, attack boost hits all other enemies adjacent to the target. And then Command. Bonus action, ally within 4 spaces performs 1 action. So it's a little bit very different than her other one. So her other one, she has same health, but 1 extra defense. Only a melee attack, but she can spawn guards. And she can't do any spawning with this version. At least not yet. But she can tell any ally to do actions. Now that's why I also have cool with the other Commander Man-at-Arms, if he would have been able to summon, because then you could have switched to both of these alternate characters. And had them kind of work in tandem that way. Still summoning things. Otherwise, as of right now, I think Tila is the only one that summons troops. Extra minions. And I wish there were more characters that summon things. So she has Serpent Staff on the commander. Attack boost. Enemies wounded by this attack lose 1 power if they cannot just suffer a wound. Attack boost hits all adjacent enemies. Attack boost hits all other enemies adjacent to the target. So kind of like a chain lightning effect. And then command ally within 4 spaces performs 1 action. Empowered. Attack actions performed by command roll have +1 die and move actions have +1 space. Nice, that's even better. Boost up your allies while giving them a free action. And then we have the AI version, which just has another Serpent Staff. And we have 4 Grayskull. All allies on the battlefield gain 1 power. Then push Goddess Tila and all allies on the battlefield up to 2 spaces closer towards the enemy closest to them. Nice. So she's gonna give people extra moves as well as pushing them around. And there she is. So rather than her sword and shield, she has the Serpent Staff and the what do you call that? Like the serpent chest piece helmet. So I think a slight missed opportunity here. Or maybe it's not this version. I know there's a version of Teal where she wears this, but I think it's a green one. She becomes a snake, the commander of the Snake Men. That would have been a cool one as well, to be like, hey, here's this. Now she can summon Snake Men instead of summoning the Royal Guard. That would have been a cool addition. I get why they didn't do it, because that was a Kickstarter exclusive expansion. So if you bought this and you didn't have that, then that character would be sitting around kind of useless. That's the only downside about sometimes doing things like that, but I would have loved that as a cool thing. But again, maybe they'll make, actually I'd love to see an expansion with something like that. Staff Vault. Bonus action. Push Goddess Steel up to 2 spaces. Surge. Enemies she adjacent to become dazed. Makes sense. Oh, then she has a healing ability. Guileless Tila or allies in 4 spaces heal 2. Surge heal +1, and Surge becomes a bonus action. That's super helpful to have more healers. Then she has her defensive stance, which she had in the other one. Her regular version says gains 1 defense. Attackers suffer 1 wound for each miss, and flip this skill over, so she'll get her offensive stance as well. +1 die for attack rolls. After rolling, attack dice 0, and you dice are flip this skill over. And then she has Inspiring Reaction. When Goddess Tila or an ally in 4 spaces is reduced to 0 HP, roll 2 dice on any range. They are not KO'd. Remain conscious with 2 HP and gain 1 power. And then for Grayskull. All allies on the battlefield gain 1 power. Goddess Tila and all allies on the battlefield then may be pushed up to 2 spaces. So she goes from kind of just commanding minions to commanding everybody. Is basically what the difference here is. But I do like that she keeps kind of like Man-at-Arms and even He-Man. I like that all 3 of their alternates, they do have some of the abilities they share. So they didn't like, hey, here's a brand new character. Here's a completely different version. They're like, nah, here's some different things. They tweaked a couple things here or there, but otherwise they left them basic. I mean, they kept some of their abilities, which I think works really well. Alright, on to our very last miniature for this video, as well as the last of the heroes. So we actually have 2 miniatures in this one. We have the Sorceress. Again, this is something I'm really surprised she didn't come in the Assault on Grayskull box. It's almost a way to, like, entice people to buy that mode. Oh, you want to play as a Grayskull Castle? You can get Sorceress as an extra ally. And that if that was the only way to get her, that would have enticed a lot of people to buy that. If not for the mode, just for this character. But that's alright. We got her as a free stretch goal here. So we got 7 health, Staff of Magic, 3 ranged. Attack boost, flip over one of your skills. Okay, we have not seen anyone that has had the ability to force flip over. Characters have had flip over skills, but none that just have an ability to change them. And then transform to Zora, or Zor. Action, replace sorcerers with Zor. They may only use their character skills and no other skills. So if you flip over to Zor, you can't use any of your other skill cards. But let's look at what her commander or controller version is. Fire Magic, specifically. 3 ranged. Roll 2 dice, plus 2 dice, reaction after rolling the attack dice, reroll any dice. And then Master Spellcaster. Bonus actions. One ally gains 1 power. Sorcerer or ally heals 1, or sorceress or model within 4 spaces is pushed 1. And then Empowered. Increase the power, healing, and push emotes on Master Spellcaster by 1. Oh, that's cool. 2, 2, and 2. That's actually a really neat controller card. Alright, then if we look at her AI version, she keeps Fire Magic and Master Spellcaster. Which Master Spellcaster kind of combines one of them. Gain 1 power and heal. And all enemies within 4 spaces lose 1 power, or Surge. Goes plus 1 for each of those. Cool, so it eliminates the movement, but it hurts enemies. And then we're going to look at Zor here. So she could flip over to Zor only as the player character. The controller and the AI don't get a change. But as the player, you can change to Zor and have evasive. Enemies targeting Zor with attacks roll -1 die. Zor moves +1 space anytime they move, ignores terrain penalties, and never suffers escape damage. And then action replace. So all you're doing is you're just swapping to this mode that loses all its skills, but basically can get away and not take as much damage. Which makes sense. It's actually a really neat little idea. Alright, let's look at the 2 little miniatures there. So we get the sorceress with her scales and her big old feathered wings. And then the little bird on the stand. I even like it, she kind of has like the scales on her costume there, which look really cool. Alright, let's look at her skill cards, see what kind of fun abilities she gets. She gets telekinesis. Focus that in there. Alright, push enemies wounded by this attack up to 2 spaces. Surge, push enemies +1 space, and Surge. This attack also hits all other enemies within 2 spaces of targeted enemy. So you've seen telekinesis on a different character. I don't remember who. Possibly Evelyn. But yeah, that's sort of neat. Then we have Heal. Action Sorcerer or 1 ally within 4 spaces heals 2. Surge, heal +1, and this becomes a bonus action. So yeah, she can push enemies away. She can heal. Definitely a support character here. Teleport. Target 1 space within 4 spaces. Then place the sorceress and her allies within 4 spaces to any adjacent space. We can teleport several times. And then she has Fire Magic. Attack boost, roll +2 dice, or after rolling a dice, reroll any dice. So yeah, that's actually kind of cool too, because then she gains a little bit better magic than just her Staff of Magic. She has 4 Grayskull, which we've seen Tila just have. Allies on the battlefield gain 1 power. Sorceress and all their allies on the battlefield may then be pushed up to 2 spaces. And then her final skill is Visions. Reaction. At the start of the round, the controller must place their activation card space up. Reaction: when allies would activate, instead switch their activation card with any other allies. Cool, so you can swap guys around, which is really neat. And then, remember, she also has her Staff of Magic, which you can attack boost to flip over any of your skills. So, that makes her even more powerful because you can use this vision if you needed to, if you're not worried about it. Flip it over to the gaining extra power, or if you have fire magic, hey, I'm in close enough range where I don't need to have the extra magic. You can then flip it over to teleport if you need to get away, or you don't need to flip over, have the attack. The same thing, heal, everyone's at full health, then flip over, have telekinesis, which gives you a ranged damage attack. So that's actually cool that she can change between all of them, giving her that much more viability. Alright, so that is what we have for the rest of the heroes and the masters. So the next 2 videos will be going over all of the evil forces, and we'll see what kind of dastardly things they bring to the table. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.